apologies to everyone tuning in. I will explain a little bit when we've got a few more viewers. There we go. Cone Racing League is live. Right, we should have a few viewers now.
Remember, it'll play from the start.
Yeah. Right, there we go. We are in. Apologies, everybody. Welcome along to CRA once more. It's round 3 here in Zandvoort. First of all, my apologies. I was accidentally streaming on my own personal Twitch account. Didn't realise, so I was going along as if we were streaming. Turns out it was on my Twitch, which is why none of you seen it. And second of all, once I finally tried to log in, it kicked me out of YouTube. But we're all good now, and we're up and running. So a little bit shorter than usual this stream, but once again, Danny joins me in the box. Good evening, Danny.
Good evening. We go. We're ready.
Yeah, we are ready. We were talking for a good 5-6 minutes beforehand about a lot of stuff Zandvoort before you kindly reminded me that the stretch wasn't up and running. We were able to sort that out. A few bits of housekeeping that we were going through last week. Obviously, Silverstone, the return of CRA 3 with a little bit of a difference. Still the 80-minute qualifying, but a 50-minute race, and what a race it proved to be.
Yeah, superb. Superb round 1 to kick us off in the season. Great Britain. That rolling with a superb drive up with Galang at the front. Both driving today's Galang features in place of Vegas with the Alfa Romeo, and Immortal Viking was driver of the day last week after we saw him, you know, passing so many cars on the way to the top of the top spot early doors. So it'll be interesting to see if he has a better qualifying session today, what he can do.
Yeah, a very good drive through the field from Immortal Viking last week. As you said, he was the driver of the day, as voted for by his fellow drivers. But the big thing is he actually qualified quite well. I think, if I remember correctly, he qualified in 5th, but it seemed like he suffered a disqualification at some point, because he actually dropped to 18th and last on the grid. I remember saying on commentary last week that I thought he qualified higher than that, and it turns out, well, to this day we still don't know what actually happened without asking him. But yeah, like I said, an imperious drive through the field. His teammate Dat Rowland finishing on pole, finishing in 1st, sorry. A very confident drive from him as well, so I'm expecting big things from McLaren today. The biggest bit of thing to notice probably from watching right now is we saw a lot of rain at the start of this session as Warrior Huntsman retires. So sorry to I was going to get onto something, but big news. Last year's runner-up, Immortal Warrior Huntsman, sorry, out. He's gone off at turn 15 into the wall. We've just seen Luis Coelho pass him as he sets the fastest time of the session, and he is now out. Van Gogh Verden joins him as well. He's gone off this time what looks at turn 7, so 2 early retirements.
Yep, this track can do it with cold tyres. You lose the, you can lose traction on this track very easily, and on sort of 2 or 3 points of the track, which we'll get onto as well. Yeah, that's a shame for both of them. Early doors, very poor. But you've got Kieran leading the frame now in the 115s on mediums. Yeah. It's decent.
The big thing that I was saying previously, that obviously, unfortunately, viewers won't have seen through our YouTube channel here at CRL, is when we actually started this session about 10-12 minutes ago, there was rain. Oh, as Kieran clips that all important curb, and he's gone off. So Kieran suffers a spin with just 6.5 minutes to go. He's been toppled by Matt at the top of the standings. He's gone a 1:14.3. But what I was saying before all that happened with Kieran there, when these drivers came out about 12 minutes ago, it was actually raining, and the first few drivers to foray onto the circuit were all on soft tyres. No one gambled on the wets. They all went straight for dry tyres, and Tomo Tip Top down in 9th was one of the first. I think he span at turn 3, so it's one of those as Matt goes very wide again as a flurry of cars come past him. I think he is just getting out of the way. but it is Matt that leads the way then at 1:14.3. The softer tyres taking him ahead of the medium runners. Who's that we got there? We'll jump on board then in the meantime with Dat Roland on the way in towards turn 1 for a lap of this Zandvoort circuit. Comes out then up towards the left right of turns 2 and 3. A very camber left-hander here at turn 4. The Hugenholtzbach in the run up towards Hunsring then for 5 and 6. A very fast flowing section, flicking your car left, then right, and then a little right-handed sort of corner at turn 7. Run a little bit wide on the curb on the exit in towards turn 8 and Shivak, the fastest corner on the circuit, I believe. Then it's turn 9 for Marlborough and turn 10 for the Renault Box here then up towards the Vodafone Box at 11 onto the DRS straight, the second on board with that Roland, but the first of the lap. One of the overtaking spots here at turn 13 and 14, the Audi S chicanes. Look out for cars going down the inside with the use of VRS, and Dat Roland catching the car very well on the exit of 13 there. He's coming up towards turn 14 and the penultimate corner. The Kumho here then run a little bit wide on the curb on the exit before the final corner. The Ari Luyendijk box before DRS opens once more, and you drive straight down to do it all again at 1:11.8. Puts him into P2.
Not bad from Dat Roland. He'll be quite happy with that, considering he did have a little bit of a flicker at the back end. He knows he can go a little bit faster. He's got time if he gets it round and have one more shot at it to take pole.
Yeah. As Immortal Viking goes second then on the medium, so strategy already showing a little bit here. Second place for McLaren and third place even with Dat Roland and Viking. Welcome along Harvey, he's joined back in, was always running late, so he is back now. Just another bit of housekeeping to remember, 2 qualifying bands, Sprunky and Digweed, will not be setting times in this session. That is as a result of stewards meetings following Silverstone last week, so don't be surprised to not see them set any times, as Immortal Vikings going even faster on this second run. I assume his teammate will be going faster as well. Dat Roland coming through towards the final few corners now, looking to put that McLaren onto the front row ahead of his teammate and ahead of McConey, who sets the pace at a moment. Is he going to join him in the 110s? He comes across the line and it's a 1:11.4, so he improves ahead of his teammate but not ahead of McConey.
Yeah, I'm just on board with Christian Galang. He's reserved for the league, but had a very good drive last week. Just going to see if he can get himself up there in the mix again.
It's another bit of shift shape with the McLarens as Immortal Viking jumps his teammate into second place. We can see from the timing screens on the left hands just the difference in tyre strategies. A lot of the drivers going for the softs. We've got a few in the top 10 on the mediums, and you were saying to me just before we came on air about the strategy, so I think it's time I passed over to you.
Right, so I had a little try earlier on of what I thought was going to be the 2 ways, maybe soft hard or soft medium, or soft medium soft, depending on how you want to go. There wasn't an unbelievable amount of time difference between doing soft hard and going soft medium, so it depends on how the opening few laps really open up and see what happens. Hopefully there's no safety cars in the race at all, but if there is, then you've certainly got more than one option that you can take on at that point. Soft, you're going to get about 10 to 12 laps out of them, depending on how you're driving. So it's a long time, and there's a 36 lap race, so ultimately it's 24 laps, even if you're getting 12 laps out of the softs to start. So it's a long race, and soft medium doesn't really seem on the card, but the hards are a good tyre around this track, in my opinion. They handle it really well. You don't have to lose a lot of time. So the good drivers, they might go for a one stop, but if they've got a little bit of doubt or there's any incidents early doors, I would potentially go with the soft, medium, soft.
Yeah, I think the hard tyres round Somerset. As Piero's out, not quite sure what's gone on there, but Piero retiring from the session. Looks like he's gone off at turn 8 or 9, one of the two, based on that mini-map. As we see Shadow Moody coming round again, but yeah, you were saying there the hard tyres sometimes round these 2021 tracks, they don't really like the cars, do they? Don't really give you enough grip but round Zandvoort in particular, they have the capacity to go long distance, like say in this 36 lap race, but they also provide quite a lot of grip.
Yeah, I do think that the hards are a good tyre for this track, especially this track, as you've rightly said. Sometimes it's just not the right tyre on the day and you need something with a bit more pace, but it's going to work out quite close depending on what strategy people go for today, so it'll be interesting to see what that is, and of course see whether the weather has any part to play in the actual race.
Yeah, as Christian Galang has gone third while we've been talking on the mediums as well. So it looks like we've got a few split strategies at the front of this race. Harvey, with his first lap time of the session, goes up into 6th place at 1:11.4. Shout out to Matt Warner up in P9 then on a soft set of tyres. I think that's his best qualifying if it stays second, as we see the checkered flag drops now then for qualifying. Immortal Viking, Galang and Dat Roland can't improve. Dat Roland has gone off into the gravel. That's at turns 13 and 14. I think he might have been just letting cars through, so he cannot improve. Leaves Tomo Tip Top out on another flyer. McConey's still going, looking to extend his advantage at the front. We've got Kieran. MUFC Harvey was on his second flying lap as well. Kieran crosses line, stays 6th. Can Harvey improve? He's gone purple in sector 2. He's into the Audi S is now at 13 and 14. Don't go too much on that curb or you will spin. We saw that Roland have a twitch earlier on his lap. Here we go then. Around the final 2 corners, turns 14 and 15. Harvey's on the final straight now. Is he going to improve on 7th place? No, he does not, so he stays in 7th. His teammate Murphy comes across the line in 11th. We've got, is that an Alpha Tauri there? Oh, and Ferrari has to do very, very well to avoid him. Luke not going up, and that's knocked Matt Warner out of the top 10. A few drivers still left on track. Tomo Tip Top coming through sector 2 now. He's looking to get himself up on the front row, but I don't think his time's quick enough. No, he's not. He's on a 1:25, so I think he's made a mistake. We've got Renault still going round. That's Lewis. He's done. And judging by the looks of things, that is it for qualifying.
Yeah. Just went so quickly before we knew it had arrived. It's finished. That's decent times though. 1:10.3 from the corner. It's quite a distance in ahead of Immortal Viking in second, so it just shows the pace he's shown so far. Perfect opportunity for him to get points today.
Yeah, a big shout out to McConey then. I think over the 2 years that I have been doing commentary for 2 seasons, sorry, for CRA, I think this is McConey's first pole position, so big congratulations to him. Like you say, that 1:10.3, 8/10 quicker than his nearest rival, Immortal Viking. Might possibly be the tyre difference, but nonetheless cannot take it away from him. He has put himself on a pole position then. Here we go, we're seeing Strauss in the chat. Wait, this ain't China. No, Strauss, it is not China, because as you can see from the comments, it is of course a reverse grid here in the academy. A few new things here this season, obviously the change from a 25 to a 50% race in line with the top 2 tiers. Calendars, rather than being random in the academy, is obviously reversed now from what the tiers run above. And one of the biggest differences obviously is that combined constructors, which we've not even got onto yet. Danny, it's very, very close. Obviously with the 3 tiers now going up against each other. Big results in the academy from McLaren last week saw them take the early lead.
Yeah, both of them had shown during the race that they belong at the top of the board. Both of them showed unbelievable pace. It's going to be an interesting little race between Dat Roland and Immortal Viking today, actually. Hopefully they won't hinder each other's races, want to be at the front, but they both certainly want to win.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be an interesting race here in Zandvoort, as we wait for the drivers then to set out their strategy. So if you're outside the top 10, Danny, you mentioned it earlier, do you take the gamble and go on the hard tyres, or do you stick to what you know and start on either the soft or the mediums?
You know, it's turn 3. I think is going to be a massive turn today. There's 2 cars alongside each other. You can, if you've got the right line, you can go on the outside of turn 3, the right-hander, and get the pace before the tight left-hander of 4. But I think it's all down to that corner there on the first couple of laps, really. If there's too many cars around, I think there could be a lot of early changes in different strategies. But ultimately, you are at the very, very fastest if you can control a soft hard, and see whether or not the pack goes for that or not.
Yeah, as we wait then for the final few drivers, the big shock in qualifying then was of course Warrior Huntsman. Early retirement, crashed into the wall without setting the lap, so he's all the way down, I believe, in 17th. Watch out for him coming through the field then as we start the formation lap here in round 2. It's McConey with his first pole position here in the academy, using those soft tyres. Immortal Viking puts himself well placed on the mediums for position 2. It's Tomo Tiptop and Christian Galang on row 2. Another mix of strategies. Look out for them in the race. Dat Roland, the early championship leader, then took the victory last time out in Silverstone. He goes from 5th place. The driver ahead of him, Christian Galang, was his closest competitor in that race. Dat Roland splits the McLarens as Kieran is 6th, but he's moved ahead in this formation lap. So ignore that for the time being. Luke Knock with that last run in qualifying put himself into the top 10. He's 7th. Assault King last week I think he started 8th, and he's 8th again this week for Red Bull. And it's the 2 Hasses promoted up into the top 10. Matt initially was out of the top 10, but he starts from 10th. Big Ben just in front of him in 9th. Murphy in 11th. Look out for him, 6th place last week. He should be having a good race on that alternate strategy. It's the reserve Berno's in fire in 12th. Piero after crashing is 13th. We've got Lewis Quayle and Van Gogh Verden 14th and 15th. There you go. Warrior Huntsman 16th. Sprunky and Digweed after their qualifying bans go from 17th and 18th. And much like last week, Danny, we got a bit of qualifying drama as Shadow Moody and Harvey both promoted down the order. Not quite sure what's gone on there. I don't think they had 5 place penalties because they would have been higher, but they go from the back of the grid then as we start this race. Where's your early money going then?
You know, I think after last week I'm interested to see now that Immortal Viking sat on 2nd place what he can do from that position. Obviously last time he's had to get through a lot of bodies to get up at the front of the grid, so today might be his day. But McConey's shown unbelievable speed there in qualifying, so Digweed has left the session.
Digweed once again suffering from Codemaster service as the lights come on for the 2nd race of this series. Hopefully he'll be able to join us back. There we go, the lights are on now and the drivers wait anxiously for them to go out. They're out and we are racing here in Zandvoort. It looks like a good start from the Williams, but the Immortal Viking next to him looking down the inside, those soft tyres. Oh, and there's a little bit of a touch as we go back through the pack. Has anyone made it?
Wow.
There's an Alfa Romeo in the wall then. As Christian Galang.
Look at Christian Galang, he's just done a full barrel roll into the side of the fence. That's Big Ben also gone.
Luke Knox gone. We've got a Haas facing the wrong way through turn 3. It's all action here at the start of this race. Murphy not up into 1st. That is being deceived by the thingies, but for now we've got yellow flags. I think it's a VSC. No, it's a full safety car. So full safety car already after lap 1. And the 5-second penalty for MUFC Harvey. He's collided with one of the reserves. Berno's on fire, but it's McConey that still leads all importantly.
Yeah, obviously a big shout out to MUFC Harvey there that's had a massive dive up. He's gone 11 places in all of that drama, which is an unbelievable start.
Yeah. We're hearing that there is a qualifying glitch which might explain what happened to Harvey and Shadow Moody. If you join late to qualifying, it says you do get put to the back of the grid. Codemasters once again coming to prove just how great they are with their games. We've got an early pit then. I think that's Dat Roland into the box early.
I would imagine Christian Galang He's going to have to pit. No front wing, and does.
Yeah.
As is Piero just ahead of him.
So we've got the early pit runners in, I think all going on the harder compound tyres. There you go. Yeah, so Dat Roland in, Christian Galang serving a penalty, but he's going for another set of mediums as we try and assess who's where in this race. Obviously, the timing graphics are not the greatest on this game at times, but we will go from here. So if my memory serves me correctly, we've got McConey in first, then Immortal Viking still just behind him, the two Red Bulls, Tomo Tip Top ahead of Assault King. Assault King, great opening lap from him. He's up into the Haas almost goes into the back of the Alfa Romeo. So that Alfa Romeo there is Kieran. So Kieran up into 6th place. Matt Warner is 7th. Van Goverden in 7th. Again, my timing graphics are all over the place. There we go. Looks like they are back to normal now. So Matt Warner in 6th. Van Goverden 7th. Harvey up into 8th place, opting for the soft end from the start. Looks to have been a good decision. Oh, as Burnos on Fire goes into the back of the Alpha Tauri almost. It's 9th place then for those two Alpha Tauris. Warrior Huntsman up into 10th place. Murphy remains 11th. The two Renaults 12th and 13th. Luke Knock in 14th, and Digweed once again struggling with connection is down in 15th.
Just having a little look at Burnos on Fire there in 9th position. I'm pretty sure he's lost his front end plate on the left hand side.
Yeah, according to my camera, you would be correct. Oh, as he almost goes into the back of him again. Almost. It does surprise me when I'm commentating and I see these penalties flash up. When you see drivers going into the back of another car, it just doesn't make sense. The first rule of a safety car is don't crash into anyone. You're going like 3rd gear, 80 miles an hour. It just astounds me sometimes how many penalties we get.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Certainly when there's a safety car out, you've got multiple lengths of cars. Is it 8 lengths, 10 lengths?
I think you're giving 10. You're giving 10 car lengths behind a safety car.
I mean that should be plenty to make sure that you're not touching any cars ahead of you, and no one's. You're not braking hard enough for anybody to touch you behind, and ultimately give you a lot of freedom on the track to keep your tyres warm. But when you bunch right up, all it takes is one big break, and you get that domino effect further back in the pack. So you just need to be a bit clever.
I can't help but feel for Harvey here. I've seen 2 penalties flash up for contact with Burnos on Fire, but the thing about it is Burnos on Fire is behind him, so it's Burnos on Fire hitting Harvey that's giving Harvey these penalties, which is unfortunately something. Oh, that Roland gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring a yellow flag.
Oh, and there we've just seen the exact thing happen. I'm just on board with MUFC Harvey. There's been a shunt with 2 or 3 cars there. There's been some end plates go again, some wing damage to several cars.
So I expect to see a few pit stops then as McConey puts his foot to the floor then as we start racing once again here in Zandvoort. Oh, it's a great restart from Tomo Tip Top. Where's he going? He's looking to go down the inside, but he's not quite good enough. He's been overtaken by Assault King, who's had a great... Oh, he's gone down the inside. What a move from the Red Bull. Oh, but he's spun. Oh, it's disaster for the McConey on the restart. He's been spun by Assault King. He went for the lunge. He caught the back of the Williams, and it is Immortal Viking who takes the lead after the safety car restart. Just goes to show how important it is to get the restarts right. McConey, not a lot he could have done. He's still stuck in that barrier, having to let the cars through. We saw Assault King had a lunge down the inside of Immortal Viking in towards turn 1. Missed his braking point.
Van Goverden.
Yeah, Van Goverden is gone. As you say, Danny, there you go. He's in the wall on the left-hand side. You can see from on board with his cars, he's gone off at turn 8, I believe. Steve Lack, the fastest corner on the circuit. He's into the wall, and we have yellow flags once again. Not a good couple of laps for the Williams driver then. McConey dropping all the way down to 17th after being spun by Assault King. I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that later on, but for now it remains the McLaren driver in front. He's pulled out almost 2 seconds on that previous lap. as his teammates looking down the inside here. Now, is he going to make a lunge, or is he going to back out? Oh, is Kieran looking as well? Not quite there. We've got yellow flags out once again. Cars all over the place in these safety car restart laps. Christian, oh, and his Red Bull's been spun into the wall. What is going on? That's another spin for Tomo Tip Top. One in qualifying, one in the race, both coming out of turn 3 into turn 4. But this time, probably the worst part of it is he's had a crash with his teammate. He's lost his front wing, and that could well be a lot of points lost. Remember though, there is still plenty to happen in this race. 31 laps left, and anything can happen.
Yeah, it's only lap 5. If he can, you probably want to pit earlier than later and not lose too much time. But as we said before, good management of a hard tyre may get him to the end as long as there's no more drama in the race. But we shall see if he's got enough downforce now that wing's damaged. Yeah,
I would expect to see him come in at the end of this lap. We've got a battle forming behind Assault King then. Positions 3 to 6 all separated by about 2.5-3 seconds as DRS enables itself then 2 laps after the safety car restart. Warren Huntsman looking to make a dive down the inside of the Haas driver. Is he going to get the move done? No, not this time. Those softer tyres keeping the Haas in front as Tomo does indeed pit then, going for a set of hard tyres as Big Ben sets the fastest lap of the race. The medium tyres seem to be firing themselves up now for those drivers on the alternate strategy, one of which is Immortal Viking. He is now 2.7 seconds clear of the Red Bull of Assault King.
Yep, Kieran's just getting up behind Assault King now. Putting quite a bit of pressure on him from behind, so hopefully Assault King just needs to play it cool at the moment.
Yeah, and Shadow Moody's just made a move down the inside of Murphy behind that little battle. He's gone up into 6th place. Oh, there's a Ferrari spinning in the background. He manages to keep it though. A little bit of contact on the exit of turn 10, I believe that was. And he managed to catch the rear end before any real danger was done. But we'll jump on board in this battle for P2 then. As Kieran will have DRS for the first time. Since then we got yellow flag, sorry then. Murphy has gone round. He's lost his front wing, that's not good. The end plate missing, that'll cause a bit of downforce loss here in Zandvoort. We've got Matt Warner and the AlphaTauri side to side. The AlphaTauri goes down the inside and makes the move look easy as he moves up into 4th place. Warren Huntsman, big results last year, looking to revisit those performances as he pushes for another championship here in the academy. Kieran unable to get past the Red Bull though. He stays in 3rd. Christian Galang and Big Ben. Oh, and Christian Galang! He's gone. He's gone off, coming out of turn 4. Another driver to hit the barriers after spinning. He's going to need a 3rd front wing of the day. That is not what you want to see. Good result last week in Silverstone. Not a great drive so far here in Holland. Oh, and Matt Warner spun as well. Another driver losing his front wing end plate. He's gone off at what I think is turn 11, the Vodafone Bock that allows the Renault of Shadow Moody up into 5th place. Imperious drive from him so far. We'll jump on board with Kieran once more as he comes round the final corner, still looking to chase down the Red Bull of Assault King.
Yeah, just having a close look at the Renaults. The Renaults are doing pretty well at the moment. They were 9 and 10 before, or 8 and 9, and they're slowly getting up the pack. Luis Coelho is obviously just up behind Matt Warner. Is he going to do anything? It might have just been taken.
Yeah, Lewis has got past then in the DRS. Big Ben, but Big Ben makes him back. Sprunky into the pit lane then. Some of these soft runners thinking now is the time to get yourself onto the harder compound tyres for the remainder of this race. Tomo back up into 11th place. Big Ben getting past his teammate out of the Hunseren.
Contact just going in towards turn 7. It's Luis Coelho and Matt Warner, but Coelho's passed.
Yeah, the Renaults and Hasses in what is a good scrap for 5th down to 8th. Matt dropping in these stages with that front wing damage. Oh, as Luis Coelho locks up into Vodafone Bock. but he manages to keep his car in a straight line. DRS open once again, and back down to the front of this Grand Prix. We're coming to start lap 9. Kirant still looking to get past Sulking, but Sulking seems to be further in front of this lap than any. DRS will once again though pull the Alfa Romeo. We've got an Alfa Tauri off this time. I think that's Berno's on fire, who's gone off. Yeah, he's gone off at turn 9, I think that is. It's sometimes hard to know. That's allowed Marconi. Oh, and he's just hit the back of Marconi. Not what you want with that lower downforce. It's more contact with another car, so it'll be back to the box for Berno. As we cycle up through the field, Digweed once again suffering from internet issues with Codemasters. The problem, he is down in 14th. As we cycle up the field now. Sorry, just to interrupt, but Big Ben has made it past Shadow Moody, so he's gone through at turn 6, and he is now up into P5. Oh, as Assault King, looks to defend the inside, but he's passed around the outside by Kieran. Lovely move through the Audi S's, but look in the background there, Warrior Huntsman. All the time these two have been fighting, he has closed up the gap. We'll have DRS now on the pair of them. Fresher tyres, remember, after crashing in qualifying, means that he will be looking to charge up the field. One driver we haven't mentioned a lot is Dat Roland, down in 18th place now, and he is on the verge of being lapped by his teammate.
Yeah, nothing, that is certainly not what you would have expected at the start of today. After the performance last week, obviously things have certainly not gone his way today so far. Obviously hitting lap 10 as well. We're just about to see the first pit stops. If it was a two stop that people have opted for today, lap 10 is about the first stop. You also have 10 laps at the end on a soft compound as well, but the ones going on a harder compound you'd have expected to pit around lap 12 so they could stay on the hards until the end and get optimal use out of them.
Yeah, so we should say that there was a lot of early stops for spins, front wing damage, things like that. Warrior Huntsman, another one I've just seen, is missing his front wing end plate, so he looks like he might be considering a stop. He's going to have DRS though on the Red Bull on those softer tyres. Looks like they are starting to grain. Dat Roland is retired, so that shows just how much a week can make in terms of races. Dat Roland, last week's winner quite comfortably, in fact, is out on lap 11, retired in the pit lane. Not the way he was looking to continue. His teammate leads then by 6.4 seconds. Showed great mental strength to push through the field last week, and he has pretty much led from the front this week after the spin of Marconi from Assault King.
Yeah, said his performance last week resulted the driver of the day from Immortal Viking, and he's shown unbelievable pace again. He's still pulling away in first place now. Yeah, and speaking of good performances, the Renaults both started outside the top 10. Running, as Shadow Moody has a bit of a twitch there, takes out one of the braking boards on the left hand side, might have caused a bit of front wing damage, but he is running in 7th. I was going to say they both started outside the top 10, and now they're running 6th and 7th line astern. They've just switched that up though. Will Matt be able to capitalise, or with his front wing damage, is he going to struggle as well? We've got Piero looking to join this battle as well. Then he's made his way up into 9th place on those mediums. Did pit early on though, as you can see, 4 laps. Lap 4 I think, sorry, was when he decided to pit. He's going to make a move on the Haas into turn 1, but opting, and he almost takes out the Haas. Decided not to move out until the last possible moment, but he gets the move done into turn 1. Murphy all over the back of these two now, but much like a few of the cars he's running, without that front wing end plate is the racing point. Yeah, Marconi and Luke on the starting straight. I would think that Marconi probably goes for the pass. He's backed out of it, so Luke's still ahead of Marconi in 14 and 15.
Yeah, Shadow Moody coming out with this bat as well. McConey, I think, not McConey, sorry. Shadow Moody had a little twitch in the pit lane, but he's back out now and he's looking to go wheel to wheel with McConey, using that drive on the outside with those fresh tyres to keep ahead of the Williams. That is a nice little bit of defensive work there, but he's run wide and that's allowed the Williams back down the inside. Shows just how much even a corner can make, let alone a weak Sprunky going round as well at turn 11. That curb seems to be catching a lot of these drivers out. It is known to be a raised curb compared to a lot of the corners on the race calendar, but that's certainly a curb that if you look to put your foot down, you will spin. As Matt Warner drops into the box then, taking those tyres 12 laps. He will need to replace that front wing though, I think, to keep up the good work. Assault King has also come into the box, pitted from third. He's now down in a fifth, so done well to pull out a gap there. But Big Ben on the alternate strategy looks like he can go a bit further into this race.
Yeah, we would think that Immortal Viking, Kieran Warrior, they'll all come in this lap, 12 laps in. Or in fact, no, Immortal's going to stay out again.
Yeah. He's opting. Are we going to see Kieran try the undercut possibly in the next few laps, do you reckon?
We'll have to see. They're taking the mediums well at the moment. I don't know what, are they going to try and see it out or go on to the hards or what, or the softs? I'm getting a bit confused with who's on what now.
Yeah, I was just saying there, I mentioned about Kieran using the undercut, but as soon as I said that, Warrior Huntsman opting to come into the pit lane. He's changing his front wing and he's gone for a set of softs. So he looks like he might be two-stopping then, starting on the mediums in 17th, got himself up into third, put the softs on now. He comes out in 9th, I think that's going to be, yeah. So he's come out in 9th place. He's got another pit stop after this to refit the soft tyres, so he's gone for that two-stop.
Yeah, it could be a great shout. Obviously, with the track acclimatisation, probably the best chance back end of the track when it's nice and warm to come out with a fresh pair of softs. Could do some damage late doors. Yeah,
so a lot of the drivers starting to excuse me, spread themselves out now. As Bernard's on fire is lapped by his teammate. This is probably one of the closest on track. The freshly fitted softs on the car of Warrior Huntsman about to use DRS on the outside of Tomo Tip Top in the run down towards the Audi S's. Can the Red Bull keep in front? Not this time. Good move from last year's runner up. He moves up into 8th place. He's got 2 seconds to the car in front of him. We drop down then to the battle for the points. Sprunky on a younger set of tyres compared to Harvey. Is he going to be able to use DRS? We'll jump on board then for this final straight. You can see just how much of a tow you get here with DRS as well. He's going to go down the inside, and that's nice and clean from Sprunky, and he is up into 10th place. McConey, another driver looking to make amends. He is on the back of Luke Knock, but Luke Knock's had a great run down this straight, and he stays in front. So here we go then. The big news of this race here in Zandvoort is that last week's winner, Dat Roland, out on lap 11. We've got yellow flags out again. That's Berno's on fire. He's gone off at the end of sector 1. Got another 3 second top at it. Warrior Huntsman once again using those tyres to his advantage. He's got past Murphy's Racing point car, and he is up into 7th place. And there we have it. So Immortal Viking has come into the pits and comes out in 3rd place, primed for a podium. It looks like, as Tomo Tip Top has gone round. Yellow flags has allowed Sprunky and Harvey to join this little battle.
Yep, just also looking at McConey again. He's just getting close to Luke behind him. 9 and 10 laps, both on the hards. He's getting closer, but he hasn't got close enough to make a dive just yet. Yeah, so this little DRS train for the final few points on offer. Tomo Tip Top currently holds 9th, but he's got Sprunky Harvey all over the back of... Always
the Racing Point runs a little bit wide. We've got yellow flags in Sector 1 again. I think Burno's on fire, not having the greatest of races today. He is round down in 18th place. As Kieran comes into the box then, so a lap later than Viking, he is into the pit lane, and this is going to be a big lead for Immortal Viking once everyone's made their first pit stops, I believe. He come out in 3rd place, and he is now up to 2nd, and he's only a second behind the Haas of Big Ben.
Yep, so far there's only Louis Coelho, who has just gone into the pits now, who's still left a pit, as well as Murphy, who I imagine will come in at the end of this lap also.
Yeah, so quite a few drivers. There you go, Lewis, as you say, you can see him falling down the order now as he serves penalties and goes for the medium tyres, I think that was. Yeah, so, yeah, the yellow walled mediums. Can he take those for the 19 laps left of this Grand Prix? We're almost at the halfway stage now. And aside for that early safety car, not really a lot of action on track, but a lot of positional changes.
Yeah, there's a lot of chopping and changing. You know, as we saw, there's been variations in them strategies from early doors. You know, people have had to think about the race, you know, the long game really. After having problems early in the race, it does affect you a lot if you've planned to do the race a certain way. To think on your feet a little bit. As we get towards the end of the race, it'll really start to show.
Yeah. And we're hearing that Rowland unfortunately got caught up in that train of cars as Burno's on fire, retires and causes a safety car. So I've just gone on to say there's not been a lot of action, and Danny, we have a safety car. This throws everything up. What does Warrior Huntsman do? Oh, as I'm seeing, drive-through penalties. Drive-through penalties galore.
Interesting. We'll have to see if all of them are genuine.
Yeah, I'm checking the race director now, and as I see it, 3 drivers. Luke Knock. Yeah, no, Luke Knock, Sprunky and McConey all given that drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
Oh. Some errors made. This is going to cost them big time towards the end of the race. Realistically now, with that safety car out, I'd be surprised if anybody had a pair of fresh mediums. You're going to get about 15 to 18 laps out of that. Earlier when I tried that, I was about 60% wear on the tyre, so you're going to keep them nice 15 to 18 laps definitely. If people could jump in the pits now, you've pretty much got the optimal tyre.
Yeah, so Mortal Viking stays out then, having pitted about 2 laps ago, but Big Ben has absolutely loved this. On the alternate strategy, gone 16 laps after an early stop. Now in the box for a fresh set of mediums, as you say. He's going to come out in 2nd place, I believe, with everyone else pitting. So Kieran's in for mediums, Assault King's in for mediums, Warrior Huntsman in as well. I assume he's going to go onto a set of mediums. Could this throw Immortal Vikings, what was a commanding lead, up in the air now?
Yeah, I mean, he certainly doesn't deserve it. He's really been pulling away at the start, at the front for a while now, but it is going to mix it up, as you say. He's going to stay out with the hards. It's only 2 laps old. You know, realistically, the difference between mediums and hards aren't massive on this track, and he's certainly shown the ability to keep himself in that lead, but as you say, it's definitely shook it up a bit now.
Yeah, so as things stand then, we're currently behind the safety car on lap 19 of 36. Immortal Viking leads, and it would have been by more than that 1.3 seconds, but Big Ben touched nicely with the safety car in terms of his pit stop. Oh, as Murphy's given a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, so not sure what's gone on there, but he's got a penalty. This will be interesting as well, because you can see there, that is the ghosted lapped car of Digweed just in front of the Haas of Big Ben. So when this restart occurs, Immortal Viking will be able to go when he wants, but we've noticed a lot with the AIs that they're quite slow after restart, so this could give Immortal Viking a little bit of space that he needs.
Yeah, hopefully his car doesn't cause any problems. devastation for Digweed again after having so many problems last week with his connection, that he's obviously having more problems today. Disappointing for him. I know he was really looking forward to racing. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah, so here we go then. The cars starting to line up. We've got 17 runners left in this Grand Prix. We lost Van Verden. That's not what you want to see. Kieran has just hit the back of Assault King, and after pitting for a fresh set of mediums, he has no front wing end plate on the left hand side. It is pretty basic. As we mentioned earlier at the first safety car, do not get close to that front car where you might cause damage, and
yeah,
that's exactly what's happened.
Silly one. He'll definitely regret that. But yes, you know, it does, as I say about the domino effect earlier on, though, it does, all it takes is one car anywhere really to slow the pace down to almost a halt, and you just get that, you know, the worst effect, 2-3 cars behind that really take the toll of it, and that's what can happen if you're not concentrating.
Yeah, we've got a gaggle of cars starting to catch up now to the back of the pack. Probably another lap behind this safety car. As we see, it's on lap 20 now, so this is the... Oh no, so the safety car is in this lap. Logic defies me once more. Immortal Viking, then you can see, trying to put heat into those tyres. It's Assault King and Kieran again collide with each other, and they are given a 5-second penalty. When does Immortal Viking decide to put the foot down?
Tell you what, who we should probably keep an eye for as well, Warrior Huntsman. Last year's co-winner, or sort of in runner-up. He's in 5th place, and he's 11 positions up from the qualifying on a set of fresh tyres. So
yeah, Kieran's looking around the outside of Assault King. Sorry, looked to get around the outside, but not this time. We got yellow flags in sector 1. Who's that? That looks like Warrior Huntsman. Oh, yeah, he is indeed.
He took it understeer into the inside. Must have clipped the curb around that Tarzan turn of turn 1. He's got problems now. He's got a lot to do, and front wing damage, front right side. He
was in a great position, as you said, up 11 places from his starting position.
Don't worry, Warrior.
A bit of a commentator's curse there, as he's gone round at turn 1, and he is down now in 16th place. Only the lap Digweed behind him. Plus, he will need to box. He will be looking for another safety car. What's going on with McConey? McConey's lost traction at turn 10, and he was pitted for a fresh set of mediums, so hopefully he's still got a bit of life left in those. Christian Galang making his way back through, up past Luke Loft now.
Big Ben, oh wow, Big Ben tried on the very last corner to go around Immortal Viking on the inside. There's a little bit of contact, and Big Ben's turned into the wall on the right hand side. He's managed to keep the car really well, but he's lost his front end plate. That's real disappointing, and he just needed to wait for the right time, and he had him.
Yeah, as Warrior. Oh, Christian Galang has gone round as well on the final corner. That is a virtual safety car, so that sort of saved Warrior Huntsman in terms of coming into the box. But one driver, I'm not sure whether that would have saved, is Sprunky. Pits for a new set of tyres, but I think he was trying to serve his drive through. So whether that was the case or not, we shall wait and see. I think there was 3 drivers, the 2 Ferraris and McConey, all given one for speeding under the safety car. But we remain to be seen whether they will serve it. Christian Galang still in the pits then, as we're back under racing conditions here in Holland. But Immortal Viking being caught now by the chasing pack. The top 4 separated by what looks like just over 2 seconds. Kieran,
yeah, it seems to be quite an even field now in terms of how many laps all the tyres have done. Immortal Vikings had 5 laps with his hard tyres there, but the majority of the pack are all on mediums now, with 3, 4, 5 tyres under their belts. So it's going to be very even going into the last few laps as the 2 racing points are side by side going down the opening straight.
Yeah, we
Harvey gets in front.
Yeah, we see the front wing damage from Kieran. Saw him drop back a little bit there around the final few corners. Question from the viewers at home: we said there, I don't know off the top of my head, but penalties wise, I think Assault King and Kieran collided under safety car conditions, so I think there's a few penalties flying about there, but it's become very hard for us to track sometimes, so we won't know possibly till the end of the race whether they are going to make a significance. I think Assault King will, if things remain the same, drop out of the podium. We're coming into what is the second third of this Grand Prix, but we remains to be seen as Kieran's got DRS, but he's going to be close enough to the Red Bull. He's going to look down the inside. Oh, and he's almost clipped his rear wing. Oh, that is not good. He has gone off into the gravel, has Kieran, and the Red Bull remains unscathed. But this has put Piero in a great position. As far as I'm aware, no front wing damage. There you go, you can see, and he is right on the tail now of the Alfa Romeo. He'll have DRS into the first corner, but I don't think he's going to be close enough this lap for a move.
Yeah, just quickly checking the first 5 races, and there's very few got penalties. As Warrior Huntsman, sorry, has just got himself a 3-second time penalty, so it is still going to be close. I think there's 1 or 2 hovering around at the top. Kieran in 1, and obviously we know about Assault King, so we'll see. Otherwise, Immortal and Big Ben, I don't believe, have any currently.
Yeah, Warrior Huntsman then on those fresh softs takes the fastest lap of 1:12.3, the first real fast time we've seen on the softs today, given the amount of times people have had to box for mediums and hards. No real consistency in their lap times, but Immortal, oh, it's the Haas of Big Ben, runs very, very wide on the outside of turn 11, but he's managed to keep it going. He's 1.2 seconds behind the leader now. Those hard tyres, as you said at the start of the race, Danny, seems to be holding up quite well for the McLaren driver, but it will be DRS for Haas, I think, as you can, yes indeed. So you can see this is going to be the first real test for Immortal Viking then. The Haas making a late charge. He's got DRS, he's up to 6 seconds behind now. He's pulling away from Assault King, and it looks like it'll be those two fighting it out for the victory.
Just having a little look, the 2 racing points got right on the back of Tomo Tip-Top, who's managed to create a little bit of a gap again in the final few corners. He's certainly trying to fight them, but I think that MFC Harvey and Murphy might have had a very close contact, or very close to being a contact on the on turn 14, which has cost them ever so slightly. 15, sorry.
It's been a good day for Renault, currently running 6th and 10th. Shadow Moody looks to be closing in on this racing point battle as they continue to fight each other side by side. It's drawing the Renault car in. Hello LH, good evening, welcome along. As we've got Tomo Tip-Top out of DRS then, and you can just see how much the DRS in this, in that sort of little straight there between turns 11 and 12. It's very, very small. You need to almost be on the back of the car as you come out of the Vodafone box to be able to make the most of that DRS. It's not like this one at the front where you have quite a few kilometres, quite a few metres to make the most of.
Kieran's just thrown it in front of Assault King on the first turn. He's got past him.
Yeah, he's got past him, and it's also drawn in Piero. So I mentioned earlier, Piero was looking to thing in with penalties and front wing damage to Kieran. I think Piero could be on for a podium if things remain the same. Only 10 laps to go. That's how quickly this race has gone. We're almost into the final 10 laps, and Big Ben's getting ever closer. He's 3 tenths ahead, 3 tenths behind now. That McLaren. And he's going to look to.
Go on.
I was just going to say he's got DRS, but he's not close enough this time.
No, I was going to say that Piero at the moment, I've just checked, and he hasn't had a single warning, let alone a penalty. So unbelievable driving from him. Sat in 5th place at the moment.
Is there? Did you manage to catch whether there's many other penalties? I know the guys in the chat are asking earlier. So I don't know. We obviously. Oh, we've got yellow flags in sector 2. Sorry. So I think that's Luke Knock has gone. Yeah. So Luke Knock has lost it at turn 11. He's gone around, but he's kept that car going. Has he got front wing damage? No, he hasn't. So that's good news for the Ferrari.
So Assault King has, that's the two collisions under the safety car under the yellow flags. Kieran has one penalty. Other than that, Immortal, Big Ben don't. Piero doesn't.
And Big Ben is right on the gearbox now of the McLaren. I think these mediums are in the window that you want there. Looking to track him. He dropped about 3/10 from that last corner, having to back off with the overspeed, but he's going to be probably the closest he's ever been as we come round for lap 28. We'll just jump on board now as we see into this DRS zone. He'll pull him once again to about 3/10 behind in the braking zone. But he needs to be almost on the gearbox of that McLaren as they come round the final corner, because that McLaren, despite being on older tyres, is getting some great traction on the exit.
So there's two banks of unbelievable close racing between Tomo, MAFC Harvey and Murphy, and then just ahead of them the fight between Piero, Assault King and Kieran that are all on the starting straight is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, as Big Ben once again can't get past, and that's Piero making a look down the inside of the Red Bull. Look, can't quite get there. Luis Coelho now joining this battle. This promises to be an exciting last few laps, and the Harvey and Murphy still line astern as they come out there. 5-second penalty for Huntsman speeding in the pit lane, not been the race he would have wanted. That's unfortunate for him. He's got great speed on his day, but obviously not here in Holland. Assault King once.
You just might see Warrior Huntsman put down the fastest lap of the race, very likely.
Yeah, remember, no points on offer for fastest lap if you finish outside of the top 10, but it still gives you that little confidence boost if that's what you... As Assault King rides the curb very, very harshly there, but he's going to be close to Kieran as they come round the final corner. It looks like Big Ben dropping further back from Immortal Viking through those last few corners. Remember, it's custom... Oh, he's got yellow flags in sector 2. I think that's a Ferrari that's gone round again. Not the greatest day for the team there. And Assault King still only 3/10 back as they arrive into turn 1.
Oh, contact between the two racing points. Murphy goes into the back of Harvey, who's spun, and Murphy's gone past him.
Yeah, good sportsmanship there from Murphy. Just tuned in as we saw Harvey into the gravel, but Murphy realising what had gone on and letting the car back through.
Yeah, like that.
Nice sportsmanship there. That's what we like here at CRL.
Assault getting really close to Kieran now, trying to get that third spot.
Yeah, Kieran 5 seconds behind the leading pair, but you can see there Big Ben dropped to a second back. I think he's made a mistake somewhere. Oh, there he is. So he's made a mistake somewhere and he's lost part of his front wing, has Big Ben, unless that damage was what he had earlier. I'm not sure, but he seems to have dropped about 3 or 4 tenths in the last lap, and he doesn't have DRS, so that is a bit of respite for Immortal Viking. But this is where the action is then, the battle for that final podium position. We've got 4 cars, Kieran, Assault King, Piero and Luis Coelho. Kieran and Assault King with penalties. Piero has none. I'm not sure about Luis. And then Tomo Tip-Top is a further 2.5 seconds back.
McCorney in the Williams, he's just pulled up alongside Matt Warner going into turn 1 and makes the pass. He's now in 11th, 2 seconds to make up to try and get himself into the points. 6 laps to go.
Yeah, 6 laps, like you say. 6 laps, but it's 6 very short laps, and 6 short laps with not very many overtaking opportunities. That is one of the exciting things about Zandvoort, is it makes you work for your positions. And speaking of working for positions, this battle for third place still rages on. Kieran with that front wing damage holding up the Red Bull of Assault King, Piero and Luis Coelho. McConey now into the top 10 as he looks to go around the outside into turn 11. Oh, that's a lovely move from the Williams, and he is past Shadow Moody then, but Shadow Moody will have DRS in the run down towards the Audi S's. Who's going to be in front? And it's the Renault. Oh, but the Renault one's very, very wide, and that allows the Williams back round the outside. Great racing from the pair there. Matt Warner, a little bit of lost traction on the exit there, drops down to 12th place after the running very well early on in this race. The Racing Point still line astern 8th and 9th place. And then
so now looking at... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, the gap's starting to sort of fill a little bit more as the laps draw to a close. Big Ben still looking to chase down Immortal Viking. He's got 5 laps to find 8/10.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Immortal's got he's do 14 laps on the hards. Big Ben's 11 laps through the mediums. Both the tyres compounds now are probably going to be levelling themselves out. So you know, whether or not there's going to be much change in the last 5 laps is all down to the concentrating of the driver, really.
Yeah, and a big bit of information popped up on my screen there as you were talking. Kieran was given another 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. He's starting to get hampered by the tyre wear and by that lack of downforce with the front wing. So as things stand, I think he's now level with Assault King, and Piero is a net 6 seconds ahead of these, minus the 6/10 that he currently is behind them now. So as things stand, Piero will take a podium in his second race. We've got 4 laps to go now, and it is still Immortal Viking leading Big Ben. He seems to eke out a lot of time in that last sector down the DRS straight over his nearest competitor, but I think Immortal Viking might have a penalty or 2. I don't know, so don't hold me to that, as Luke Knock's given a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings. These track limits catching out the drivers. If you push that a little bit too hard, you will go around as Luke Knock retires. So Luke Knock in the pit lane, opting to retire that car.
Yeah, McConey in 10th, the last of the spots. He's been pulling out a bigger and bigger gap on Shadow Moody in 11th, so it looks like he's sealed that for definite. It's whether or not he's going to have time to catch Murphy up with 4 laps to go.
Yeah,
I think there slowly.
I think he will. Murphy's on 13 lap old tyres as well, but he's on the hards, and McConey in that last sort of few corners alone has pulled out, taken out 5 seconds. 5/10 from that gap, so he will have DRS here. Murphy's now dropping behind his teammate, so I'll be looking to see if McConey's going to make a move here. He's pulled right up in that toe, but it's not going to be long enough this final straight for him this time. But I think in the next lap or 2 he might split those racing points. We'll jump back up to the battle for 3rd place, and Kieran still leads this little train of cars. He's done very, very well, I think, in terms of keeping his position and doing what he needs to do, but unfortunately he suffers from lack of keeping that car in the track limits, which unfortunately you can't do anything about. That is driver error when all is said and done. But with 3 laps to go, it looks like we now have a clearer picture of where this race is going to go. Those 25 points look like they might be going back to the McLaren garage. It's now 3 seconds Immortal Viking has pulled away from Big Ben.
Yep, Kieran does have 2 penalties, I can see there. Immortal Viking and Big Ben, if the stats are correct, they still do not have any penalties, neither of them.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that when the safety car came out a few laps ago, I was a little bit worried about Viking. He'd only just come into the pits for a set of hard tyres, so I think he'd done an out lap and a flying lap, a racing lap I should say, and then the safety car came out, and I think it was the closest 4 cars behind him, all boxed for a set of fresh mediums. We've got a car round. Who's that? That's Shadow Moody. That looks like he's gone round at turn 1. Has he kept his nose clean? I'm not sure because he was towards the wall. Yes, he has. So he has kept his nose clean. That'd be a little bit of a downhearted moment for the Renault driver after performing so well. But going back to the McLaren, as I was saying, the closest 4 drivers behind him all boxed for fresh mediums. It would have taken him to the end. But Warrior Huntsman, probably the closest competitor, spun into the wall, had to pit for a new front wing and a fresh set of tyres. And Immortal Viking has just shown what consistently doing what you need to do as he starts lap 35 of 36.
Yeah, as it happens, when they put the mediums on, it was optimal time, as I say, to go on the mediums anyway when the safety car came out. But of course, the safety car will also save your tyres for that extra couple of laps also, and let you attack it a little bit more rather than having to worry about preservation. You can really go for it, and you can see every one of the races really still doing that, even in this late stage of the race. just about keeping things together, nothing silly.
Yeah, nothing silly, and unfortunately, I let out a little gasp there. Piero, I think he must have been going for a move on the inside of turn 1 because he spun it into the wall, and he now has front wing damage. But worse than that, he's down in 8th place, so what would have been a probable podium now seems like a fight for just the last remaining points, because he's got a bit of front wing damage on his right hand side, and with a little bit of a spin on those worn tyres, I don't think that will have helped.
Yeah, you've got to feel sorry for him, haven't you? He's done unbelievably well today. Let's just see if he can hold on, because you can see just behind him, Murphy's still sniffing around as McConey also is trying to get past Murphy. So hopefully they keep it clean for this last finish of the lap. And Murphy's gone off track. That lets McConey past. Yeah,
and this is the battle for 3rd place on track then. Luis Coelho pulling ever closer to the Kieran and Assault King battle, but it looks like it's going to remain as they were for the last 10 or so laps. I can't remember what lap these two were behind each other, but as we start the final lap of the race for these guys, it's Kieran still leading, so wherever he drops down to on track, I think the performance from Kieran deserves a lot more, but obviously if you get those penalties, not a lot can be said other than maybe next time don't push as hard in certain corners. But this is where the main piece of news is coming through Sector 2 now. The McLaren of Immortal Viking comes through the Audi S's. The crowds, you can see there, all dressed in orange here in Holland. It's not going to be a Max Verstappen. It's not going to be a Dutch constructor, but what it is going to be, it's going to be a car sporting the colours of Holland. The English-based McLaren car of Immortal Viking is going to take victory here in Zandvoort. It's a win for Immortal Viking. Big Ben crosses the line into seconds, but who's going to come across the line 3rd? It looks like it's going to be Kieran. He's going to take 3rd on track, but I don't know if he'll stay there. Assault King comes across in 4th, and Luis Coelho gets a podium. Congratulations, Luis, his first podium in the CRA. He comes across the line and goes 3rd. Tomo Tip Top up into 5th. Piero, after that late spin, only manages 6th. McConey, great recovery drive from the pole sitter. He's 7th. Assault King drops down to 8th place where he started. There's points for Matt in the Haas, missing last week, takes 9th place this week, and Sprunky takes 10th. The racing points of Harvey and Murphy just missing out, as does Shadow Moody. Huntsman comes across 14th, and the final runner on track, Christian Galang, minus a front wing, will come across the line for 15th. Digweed, unfortunately, connection issues meant he wasn't able to race properly today. But it's Luke Knock, Bernard's on fire, last week's race winner Dat Roland, and Vanga Verden, who couldn't finish this race. But that is it. It's another win for McLaren, Danny.
Yeah, impressive from start to finish, really. Off the front two, Immortal and Big Ben, were really solid right throughout the race. They deserve to be where they are. Unbelievable performance in 3rd by Luis Coelho. He's gone 11 spots up from his grid position in 14, so pretty impressive day for him. Yeah.
That was almost a race of 2 halves. That not so much any action there in the first part, apart from the early safety car lap 1 and thingy. But when that safety car came out for the second time with the Burno's on fire crash, the race really started to liven up. The different strategies came into play, and we saw Immortal Viking take the 2nd race victory in a row for McLaren. Drove that 1 stop to perfection. Big Ben did all he could, but unfortunately couldn't catch him. And there is my driver of the day, standing in the 3rd place position. Luis Coelho, less penalties than Kieran and Assault King, who in my eyes get shout-outs for a great battle on track. Kieran for his defensive driving, and Assault King for constantly putting him under pressure and doing all he could. But at the end of the day, there is your podium, and it's another 25 points going back to McLaren. So that extends their lead, I think, in the overall Constructors' Championship. Racing Point, 2nd after the opening round of races. They'll drop out after Harvey and Murphy couldn't manage a points finish between them. No points for AlphaTauri either. So that will see Red Bull move up the order. They were 5th, and you can see a double points finish there. Tomo and Assault King will probably push them up a little bit. That constructors order. So all that remains for me, Danny, is I've told you mine. Who was your driver of the day?
Can't argue with it at all. It's dead on, isn't it? Has to be Luis Coelho. Superb performance, clean racing, no penalties on the board. Come from 14th to 3rd in a very tough track and such fast corners to avoid all of the problems that we could clearly see were going on all over the place. So shout out to him for being with an unbelievable race today. Deserves to be on the podium. But obviously, I mentioned it before the race, shout out as well for Immortal Viking, that showed last week that he had pace and he too could get through the field. And when he was near the front today, he led from the front and could stay out there, even with the harder tyre compound against the mediums for those few laps. He protected really well, got the job done.
Yeah, he said Immortal Viking finished 5th last week from 18th on the grid. Finishes 1st this week from 2nd on the grid. I think he's shown some great title credentials there. And I look forward to Spa next week. Do you think it will be another McLaren victory, or can you see someone coming in and upsetting the odds?
Well, like today, anything can happen on the track. Any collisions, and obviously we know Spa is quite a high. There's parts of Spa that obviously we know are very, very high speed through 2nd and 3rd Eau Rouge, etc. So, anything can happen. I think that looking at today to give us a good idea who to keep our eye out for. But I think there's still better races yet to come from people who haven't shown it yet.
Yeah, indeed. I agree with that wholeheartedly, and that is it then. So it is round 2 done and dusted. Victory for Immortal Viking sees him jump to the top of the standings, overtaking his teammate Dat Rowland. It's back-to-back victories for McLaren. Join us next time in Spa and we'll see if they can keep up that 100% record. That's it for now.